sense. Let us turn to Apple. Listen up, Apple faithful, and you know who you are. If you've been waiting to buy the Apple ultra-high definition TV that they keep talking about, stop waiting and move on. The Wall Street Journal is reporting that the long-awaited Apple TV, grab the Kleenex boxes, if any of you are crying, that Apple TV, the actual television that's supposed to be all fancy pants high-end, might never hit the shelves. Fans, analysts, even Carl Icahn, the activist investor, have been waiting for the release of this high-end, high-def TV that would disrupt the way we have all watched TV for so long. Apple already has a TV box, Apple TV, that allows users to stream content from Netflix and Hulu Plus, HBO Now. But let's bring in Gene Munster, Piper Jaffray senior research analyst, who's also been waiting for Apple to release this fancy TV. You need to tell us if the Journal has it right or if it has wrong.
I think they got it right, Meg. I got it wrong here. I've been talking about this for, as you know, Liz, for close to 7, 8 years. But Dai Wakabayashi from the Wall Street Journal does really good work, and I'm pretty sure he's got this right, that it's currently shelved. That I guess that doesn't mean never say never, but as far as guys like me, who's been a huge believer in this, it's a difficult day today.
Well, now you get things rarely wrong. What do you think happened here? Do you think that something spooked the horses over at Apple and they say, I don't know if we can actually go from 0 to 180, starting a plant and starting manufacturing? This is a big endeavor to start building televisions.
Yeah, it's little consolation that they have been working on it for a long time. We've been talking about it for a long time. But the piece that we missed was that we had always looked at content as being the big limiting factor to getting this TV, basically more over-the-top content, and that being an exciting part of people wanting this Apple television. But at the end of the day, that probably wasn't the reason what killed it. What killed it was they experimented with different options and like FaceTime and Siri and use it as a home hub, and they made a decision that there just wasn't enough substance there for them to compete in that market. And so I think they had some aspirations around the features. They spent years looking at it, and at the end of the day, they shelved it.
Okay. Well, I'm not crying because I really like my Samsung. I think Samsung makes great TVs. But let's just get right to the other issue that's been big news, and I'd love your opinion on Carl Icahn's letter to Tim Cook just this week, in essence saying, now you need to do a really big buyback. Is he ceasing to be a positive in the stock? Because Apple is basically sort of hugging the flat line right now and not really doing much. And usually when you hear that an activist is pushing, you start to see the stock push higher too.
Carl's had a great call on this. He was optimistic when people were pessimistic, so let's start with that point. I think by this point, some of his assumptions to get to that $230 price target is pretty aggressive, and we're optimistic about the stock. We think it goes to 162, but one big aspect of that 250 is an expansion of the multiple, going from 15 times earnings to 20 times, and that's a little bit hard to do when you're coming out of a big product cycle. Typically, you get multiple contraction, and so as I think about his recent analysis, I think that that's the one biggest piece as far as where I might differ in terms of what investors are actually going to pay for future earnings.
Yeah, I think Apple might differ. They really feel that they want a lot of dry powder in that cash pile. That's the way they've always been. Here's Apple year to date. It looks very good. You've got a very strong price target. Let me just go back to Apple TV. Which company is doing dancing and Macarenas in the hallways and they're happy? Is it Samsung? Is it Panasonic? Who's thrilled right now that Apple will not be putting out a TV anytime soon?
There's definitely some celebration going on, and it's probably in Samsung first. That's probably going to be the best party, and the second would be Vizio.
Oh, that's the lower end.
Angle.
Well, I wouldn't say lower end, but they're Chinese. Or the Korean? Tell me, remind us.
You know, I know they have an office here in the U.S., but I'm not sure where they actually manufacture them.
They sell at, you know, the Sam's Clubs and places like that, right?
Yeah, they are, but they're coming out with these 4K TVs this holiday that are going to be priced pretty attractive, and I think that that's something that they. So I think both of those would be. I'm sure they're in good moods today.
Gene, thank you very much. And you know
Thanks,
what?
Liz. Thanks for having me on.
Props to you for saying, you know what, I was wrong. The Journal's right. We'll see.
Well, It's the least I could do after putting you all through this.
Gene, we'll see you next time. Gene Munster is Piper Jaffray Senior Research Analyst. So, yeah, the Kleenex is out for the Apple faithful. No TV for now. The closing bell.